Welcome to the Roadmap to Secure Love. In today's episode, Kim and Kyle discuss how power dynamics and shared decision-making shape intimacy, trust, and connection in relationships. Let's dive in.
You know, one of the big questions in a relationship before you get married, or even, if you haven't had this conversation, you have to sit down and talk to your partner about this. It's like, who's in charge?
Yeah.
Who makes the decisions? Who has the final say? How do you come to decisions? Um, this can be a really hot topic. When you come from a faith background, potentially, um, there's this understanding for a lot of faiths, not all of them, that the male is the head of the household and the partner, the woman is just supposed to follow everything that is being said. And that translates into the bedroom, right? It's like women are no longer their own. They belong to the man. And so the man, the woman's responsible for the man's pleasure. We got to talk about this dynamic before you tie the knot
Right.
because that doesn't always work for everybody, nor is it healthy all the time. And I know I just made a whole bunch of people mad, maybe, to say that it wasn't helpful. Stick with me on why I'm saying that, okay? Because in a secure relationship, which is what we're trying to help all of us develop, right, is where each person's voice is heard. The playing field is equal.
Mm-hmm.
So that both parties make decisions and both parties co-create sexual experiences. And instead of me being responsible for somebody else's pleasure, I am responsible for my own, and I am responsible to share what's pleasurable to my partner. And this might make some people angry. Hot, or there's going to be two camps, right? The camp that's like, I'm mad, oh, and then the camp that's going to go, yeah, you know. But why is this important, Kyle, what I'm saying?
It's important because if we're in this pattern where we got this message or even believe ourselves that our role is to serve our partner or our spouse, our husband, if our role is to do what gives them pleasure and our pleasure is secondary, it can leave us, especially erotically, but even in other areas of our life, feeling like we're caretaking, feeling like there's no room for our pleasure, no room for our enjoyment, no room for what ignites us. And it actually leads us to start to just check a box. And when we have check the box intimacy, it isn't connecting for either partner because we're not actually there. We're not actually in the moment with each other. We're just going through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be damaging.
Yeah.
It's damaging to kind of push our body through an experience that we don't really want to be there for. Right. And then for our partner, it's like, okay, yeah, we are having sex, but you're kind of just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And that I don't feel your engagement. I don't feel your desire towards me. I don't feel your longing for me. And so
Yeah.
it just feels dull.
Yeah. I mean, even when you said the check the box, either sexually or even just in daily life, like I'm just going to check the box. This is what my partner likes.
Mhm.
I know they want this for breakfast. I know if, like, as you were saying that, it felt suffocating.
Yeah.
Like, where's my identity in that?
Mhm.
Who am I?
Mhm.
I feel lost.
Well, of course, because there's not space for your voice. There's not space for your wants. There's not space for what's in those areas, right? You might have it in other parts of your life, but in this dynamic, you get smaller, right? Because you're giving the space to the other partner. And so, yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of suffocating. It's kind of makes you shrink.
Yeah.
So what do we do about that? Yeah.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. I'm going to push it off on you, make you make it the hard part. Is like, what I'm thinking about is like, doesn't somebody have to be in charge? I mean, like bosses, everybody has a manager, everybody has this. How is the world going to live if somebody doesn't make the final decision?
Well, I think that's funny is even in secure relationships where partners share power, one partner might be the one that has the voice, right? That voice is the decision, right? I'm the one who bought the car, right? For example, we bought a car, right? But my wife had a ton of input. We got the car of her color. We did all this stuff. We did like we dialogued constantly about that item. But yet I was the face with the salesperson to try to get that deal or try to close it and do those other things. Right. And so in that way, yeah, we are making a decision together, but then I'm the one deciding. And it's the same in corporate America. Yes, there might be someone who goes, this is what we're going to do, but they're kind of the CEO, they're the leader. And in good organizations, they're taking cues from the employees and their coworkers on what the best direction is,
Yeah.
right? That's what creates kind of a secure functioning corporate environment. In couples, it's the same thing. When we have it differently, where a partner's like, nope, this is what we're doing. I don't really care how you feel about it. It doesn't really matter to me. That starts to feel yucky in our bodies.
Oh, immediately there's like so much resentment that's going to build.
Mhm.
And that is not erotic, nor is it connecting, nor is it secure.
No. And so again, if we grew up culturally learning that that's the way to be, this might feel normal for us.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean it brings us closer or makes it feel like we're in it together. And so really what Kim and I are talking about is how do we make decisions, even if we have differences in it, that allow us to negotiate in a way that feels fair, a way that feels collaborative and cooperative before a decision is made. Whether whoever's final voice that is that actually says it, but
Yeah.
that we are coming as a front together with a unified decision that maybe one partner actually talks about.
Hmm.
And so, how do we start to do that? The,
Well, we got to be honest, and we've got to make space for each other's ideas. Now, you're talking about a car, but this actually happens in the bedroom too. I want to do this. I don't want to do this. I feel this way. I don't feel that way. Um, if we just, I call it content, which is like what color of the car that you want.
Mhm,
Okay, that's the content. But really, if you think about, the heart, like I've always wanted that color car. It makes me feel happy when I look at it. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel whatever.
mhm,
You're going to get that color car for your wife
mhm.
because you want her to feel those things.
Right.
So it's like, what's at stake when we're making a decision? Okay. And if we can get to the heart of what it means, it helps.
It helps a lot. And I think a lot of times, you know, if we didn't really have much experience of negotiating or sharing why things are important for us, if we might be a little bit more of the withdrawn partner who, okay, my other partner clearly has a preference for this, let's just go along with it. We don't have much experience bringing what might feel good or what might be meaningful or letting our partner see, like, this color is something I've always wanted, right? And because it makes me feel joy.
Mm.
And yes, we're talking about a car color, but we're also talking about intimacy. We're also talking about sex, right? I like it this way, or like when you're looking at me, I like the connection, right? Being able to talk about this, being able to own what's pleasurable for you is essentially what we're asking. Can you bring your partner what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure? Can you turn to them and give them a chance to see that? And when something gets in the way, whether it's that power dynamic we're talking about, where one partner makes the decision, or there's a fear, it makes it really hard for partners to make clear decisions together.
Yeah. And there could be a threat, like, what if, um, your color of the car triggers your wife's color of the car,
Mhm,
you know, and they hate that color,
mhm,
but that was what you wanted your whole life.
mhm.
Of course, we're talking about cars and colors but this applies to so many things
It does.
because people often feel who's going to win?
Mhm.
Who's going to win that?
And that's where we get caught
Hmm.
because then we fight for winning the color of our car. And we can even talk about this with kids, right? Couples who one partner might want to have a kid, another partner doesn't want. If they just bully their partner into having a kid or bully their partner not into having a kid, what's going to happen is resentment.
Yep.
What's going to happen is anger. And we're not going to be able to share in the joy and the grief of either option, right? Of having a kid and the joy of that and the grief of losing some of our independence to be able to go do other things we used to before, or the grief of not having a kid and the joy of what space that opens up,
Yeah.
right? And so when we don't make these decisions together and dialogue and explore these differences, we can get stuck really quickly.
Yeah. So the goal is for the speaker to share what they are wanting.
Mhm.
And then the goal for the listener is to be open to hear something else, not to be threatened, not to be lean into their fear, but to be open
As best they can, because
as best they can.
it can be really hard if your partner is like, I like this, and that's not something that causes fear in you, or that causes, oh my goodness, if I don't agree with them, this person might divorce me or leave me. It's gonna be pretty hard to be open with that. So what do we do in that moment, Kim, when our partner is letting us into something deeply meaningful and it's triggering for us?
Yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge this activates me,
Mhm.
and to kind of think and slow down of how it activates us so that we can share that with our partner. Like this reminds me of fill in the blank.
Mhm.
That's essential. We've got to talk about why we do what we do in order to make good decisions together
Right.
equally.
Mhm. And I think this is what's so hard is a lot of us, we have decisions, and especially if one partner is really excited about it, we want to push, we want to get it done, we want to make it happen. But if our partner is resisting and we don't explore that resistance, we don't explore that with them, we end up making disconnected decisions,
Yeah.
right? And that then comes to bite us,
Yeah.
right? It leads to more conflict, it leads to resentment. And so our job is when we start to feel that tension is to slow down and talk about what's between us, right? Okay, I'm clearly very excited about this thing we're gonna go do or this trip we're about to take, and I'm noticing that you're don't seem as excited. What's going on there? Can you help me understand this? Right. And then that allows the other partner some space to talk about, well, I'm actually scared if we do this, no, here's what's going to happen. And it gives them a chance to talk about what gets in the way for them and you a chance to see them and the two of you to talk about how do we navigate this together? How do we make it something that we can, as best we can, both decide together?
Yeah. And what I love is that we make space for each other to listen, to hear one another, to voice. That's a secure relationship. That's the type of relationship that has the best sex, that is able to have hard conversations without it ruining the relationship. And that is the one that comes together and united front on decision making.
Mhm. It's interesting. I'm getting an image that comes to mind from David Schnarch. Do you remember that therapist?
Oh, yes.
Differentiation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting guy. won't go into more of that. But one of the things in his book, Passionate Sex, I believe it's called, he talks about this idea of hugging, where partners are able to stand on their own 2 feet and embrace each other. And that's kind of what a decision really is how do I own what's mine? Whether it's an activation, whether it's a longing, whether it's pleasure, whether it's something I enjoy, whether it's something I'm scared of, and how do I connect with you on that? And when both partners can do that, it can create this warm embrace that allows us to make clear decisions and feel like we're partnered in this life together.
Here are the key takeaways from today's episode. 1. Share power equally. 2. Voice your needs. 3. Make decisions together. And 4. Embrace vulnerability. Follow Kyle and Kim on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to sign up for the Secure Attachment Path course to explore your attachment style, uncover relationship patterns, and learn practical tools for building secure connections. Link to the course can be found in the show notes and on our website. Until next time, stay connected and love fully.